Welcome back. So this is going to be the start of season 4. I've had to take a short break for a variety of reasons, mostly restarting of school. But this time I am going to be talking to you about working on projects not at home. So I'm about to go on a trip and I will be gone for about 5 days in the park. And it is to an amusement park. And there's some special considerations when taking knitting to an amusement park. And one of them is, how do you get into the park with the knitting supplies? And in my case, how do you get onto a plane with the knitting supplies? Now, these rules have changed a lot since the first time I encountered them, right after 9/11. But the main way that I do it is I take knitting needles, I will see if I can hold them up a bit closer, that do not have any metal on them. So they are fully bamboo, or bamboo and plastic for the table. As many of you know, I use circular needles for everything, and that is because that way I don't lose a needle. It's just one set for both sides. The other part of this is scissors. So I have 2 variations. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up taking both or if I'm only going to end up taking one. This is the preferred pair that I take when I go to amusement parks, especially Disneyland, and especially on planes, even though normal snips actually do now qualify for planes. So when I unfold them, that's what they look like. They're tiny, but they work pretty well for what I need them to do. And as I have found out through way too many years of experimentation, when they're folded up, no one knows what they are, and they just think it's a keychain. Now the other one is one that I have not had to use in a very long time, but it's one that I like to have just in case. And this is, it's still a pair of scissors in a way, but what it is it's a blade on the inside with little notches. So if I take a piece of yarn, I put it in there and pull, it cuts just fine. So this does not work for fine work, doesn't work if you're actually trying to get rid of that end. It just works if you're trying to cut the yarn so you can move on to the next color. This is the big version. This is 4 yarn. The small version actually has much finer grooves in it, and that is for things like embroidery and cross stitch and things like that, so embroidery floss or standard sewing thread. So that's the tool portion, and in this case I am taking everything in a cute little bag that will live in my larger project bag. Now for yarn, I am working on a log cabin blanket, so all of you have seen, or you have the opportunity to see, this version of the log cabin blanket, which is the same yarn carried round and round and round and round. So no color switching, no nothing. This time I'm doing the center section in white, trying to find where to put that where it's visible. So white in the center, and then this is the color for the next round, and then black is for the outside. So these are 3 different brands. I know from experience that these 3 brands actually work pretty well together. And like most of my other projects for the last season, all of this, or almost all of it, was donated yarn. So as I go through this week, there will be photos at the beginning of the day, midway through the day, saying how far through I am. Most of the rest of this will be a voiceover over photos rather than videos. I do not feel comfortable taking videos inside of Disney for a variety of reasons. I just don't feel comfortable doing it. So the hope is to get through all of the centers by the end of our plane day, because I'm on one coast, the park is on the other coast, and then I'll be working through these and the black for the rest of the trip. I'm not taking enough yarn to finish the entire blanket. Now, that being said, I do fully expect to be able to finish the blanket within a week of getting home. Am I guaranteed of that? No, but I'm going to try. So that's where I'm at, and be back in a little bit. So my grand plan didn't quite work. The downside with knitting on a plane, especially little pieces, is you lose count really quickly. So I ended up only getting 14 centers done on the plane before I was going, oh shoot, how many do I have? So I ended up turning some of those centers into that second round of color. So I had 14 done of the centers and then 4 done with the color by the time I got to the end of day 1. On day 2, I took a bunch of the centers and a ball of the color into the park and ended up getting 5 more of the color portions done, and then getting 2 strips on a 6th one done, so about halfway done with that. And I made 8 more of the centers at the hotel room, bringing that total up to 22. On the 3rd day, I finished up the rest of the centers, so that got up to 24. I finished 4 more of the color section, bringing that total to 13. And I started working on one of the squares of the black, getting some of the black done. Did not finish a full square. On day 4, I got 5 more color sections done. So brought that up to a total of 18. And I finished off one of the blacks at the hotel room, along with a little bit more than that. On day 5, I finished all the color, and then I was working on just the blacks. And on day 6, obviously since I was through the color, I just worked on black for that whole day, bringing the total of those up to 4. And here we are after 5 days in the park. On the last day, I ended up not knitting basically at all. So that's why there aren't photos from that last day. This is how far I got on that very last day, on that last square. So I ended the week with all of these done and 4 full blocks. So I will be working on this while here at home, basically until it's done. I'm guessing another week or 2. And there will be a reveal on Make It Mondays for that. But yes, this will become my quote purse project, so the one that I work on while I'm out and about here at home. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on What's on My Needles.